Hey, Vikings faithful. SKOL Nation. Get ready to rumble because we've got some electrifying news straight from Egan. The Minnesota Vikings just dropped a bombshell, signing two linebackers, Gill and Tooley, right before their joint practices with the Patriots. Are these moves the key to bolstering our defense or just depth for the grind? Let's dive into this purple-painted saga and find out what these signings mean for our 2025 season. Picture this. It's a crisp August day at TCO Performance Center, and the Vikings are gearing up to clash with the Patriots in joint practices. The buzz is real. New faces are joining the purple and gold. Gill, a 6'3", 240-pound beast, and Tooley, a familiar name back for round 2, are here to shake things up. Why now? With roster cuts looming and Brian Asamoah recently waived, these signings scream depth and competition for Brian Flores' defense. So what's the vibe? Can these guys make a difference? Stick with me as we break down these moves in 15 action-packed scenes, filled with stats, stories, and that Vikings fire. From Gill's Super Bowl heroics to Tooley's reunion with the squad, we're unpacking it all. Are you pumped for what's next? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's get into it. Gill is no stranger to big moments. This 27-year-old outside linebacker burst onto the NFL scene as an undrafted free agent with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2020. Straight out of Wagner, he racked up 29 tackles, 2.5 sacks, and 4 QB hits across 40 regular season games from 2020 to 2023. But here's the kicker. In Super Bowl 55, Gill made waves with 2 tackles and half a sack in just 3 defensive snaps. Talk about clutch. Fast forward to 2024, and Gill was grinding with the Carolina Panthers, playing 10 games and notching 22 tackles with 4 QB hits. He even had a brief stint on Detroit's practice squad before returning to Carolina. Now, he's a Viking, ready to bring that edge-rushing tenacity to our OLB crew. Can he carve out a role alongside studs like Jonathan Greenid and Andrew Van Ginkel? The question is, Vikings fans, is Gill the depth piece we need? Or could he surprise us and climb the depth chart? With 940 special teams snaps in his career, he's got versatility. Let me know in the comments if you think he's practice squad-bound or a dark horse for the 53-man roster. Now let's talk Tooley, a name that feels like home for Vikings fans. This 6'2", 225-pound linebacker is back in Minnesota after a brief hiatus. Tooley first joined the Vikings practice squad in September 2024, fresh off his undrafted free agent deal with the Houston Texans. A BYU standout, he played 6 seasons for the Cougars, starting 31 of 60 games with a whopping 311 tackles, 17 tackles for loss, and 7 interceptions. Tooley's journey with the Vikings has been a roller coaster. Signed to a futures contract in January 2025, he was waived on July 30th, only to return 2 weeks later on August 13th. This quick reunion shows the Vikings see something special in him. Could it be his 4.58 40-yard dash speed or his knack for big plays at BYU? His college stats scream potential, but can he translate that to the NFL? What do you think, SKOL Nation? Is Tooley's return a sign he's destined for the practice squad? Or could he fight for a spot with Ivan Pace Jr. and Blake Cashman? Hit the comments with your predictions, and let's keep the purple pride alive. Why these signings now? Timing is everything, and the Vikings are making moves with purpose. With joint practices against the Patriots kicking off, the team needed bodies to fill the linebacker room after waiving Brian Asamoah and placing Rondale Moore on IR. Asamoah, a former third-round pick, was claimed by the Titans, leaving a gap that Gill and Tooley are stepping into. These joint practices are a crucible for players like Gill and Tooley. Facing off against New England's offense, led by rookie QB Drake May, gives them a chance to shine against top-tier competition. Brian Flores' defense is known for its complexity, and these practices are a perfect stage for newbies to prove they can handle the playbook. Will Gill's edge-rushing chops or Tooley's instincts stand out? Vikings fans, what's the one thing you want to see from these guys in practice? A big hit? A clutch play? Drop it in the comments, and let's see if they can bring the heat against the Patriots. Let's zoom in on Gill's resume. This guy's got a knack for making the most of his opportunities. At Wagner, he was a two-time NEC Defensive Player of the Year, racking up 34 sacks in college. That's no small feat, even at the FCS level. His ability to get after the quarterback caught Tampa Bay's eye, landing him a roster spot as an undrafted rookie in 2020. In the NFL, Gill's been a special teams warrior, logging 940 snaps in that role. But don't sleep on his defensive contributions. 51 career tackles and 2.5 sacks show he can make plays when called upon. His 2024 stint with the Panthers saw him set a career high with 221 defensive snaps. Now, with the Vikings, he's joining a stacked OLB group. Can he outshine rookies like Gabriel Murphy or Tyler Batty? SKOL Nation, do you think Gill's experience gives him an edge over the younger guys? Or is he fighting for a practice squad spot? Let's hear your takes in the comments. Max Tooley's story is one of persistence. After 6 years at BYU, he entered the NFL as an undrafted free agent with the Texans in 2024. His college numbers are eye-popping: 311 tackles, 17 tackles for loss, 3 sacks, and 7 interceptions, including 2 pick sixes. That's the kind of versatility Brian Flores loves in his linebackers. Tooley's first stint with the Vikings was quiet, spending 2024 on the practice squad without seeing game action. His release in July seemed like the end, but Minnesota brought him back for a reason. Could it be his speed and instincts? Or is he here to fill reps with Andrew Van Ginkel dealing with a health issue? The clock's ticking for Tooley to make his case before roster cuts on August 26th. What's your gut feeling, Vikings fans? Can Tooley turn heads in the preseason? Or is he destined for another practice squad stint? Drop your thoughts below, and let's keep the SKOL spirit strong. The Vikings linebacker room is stacked, and that's what makes these signings so intriguing. For outside linebackers, we've got Jonathan Greenid, Andrew Van Ginkel, Dallas Turner, Gabriel Murphy, Bo Richter, Tyler Batty, and now Gill. That's a crowded field, and with Greenid, Van Ginkel, and Turner likely sitting out much of the preseason, Gill has a chance to shine. Inside, it's Ivan Pace Jr., Blake Cashman, Eric Wilson, Kobe King, Chaz Chambliss, Austin Keys, Dorian Mousey, and Max Tooley. Pace and Cashman are locked in as starters, with Wilson and King as key backups. Tooley's fighting an uphill battle, but his college production suggests he's got the tools to compete. Can these two newbies crack the depth chart? Vikings fans, who's got the edge in this linebacker battle? Gill with his NFL experience or Tooley with his raw potential? Hit the comments with your picks, and let's see who rises up. Let's talk joint practices. These sessions with the Patriots are more than just scrimmages. They're a proving ground. Brian Flores' defense has been a nightmare for the Vikings' offense in camp, and now they face New England's Belichick-inspired scheme. For Gill and Tooley, this is their shot to show they can hang with the big dogs. Imagine Gill chasing down Drake May or Tooley reading a play to stuff a run. These practices are where roster hopefuls make their mark. With starters likely resting in the preseason game, Gill and Tooley could see serious snaps. Will they seize the moment or fade into the background? SKOL Nation, what's the one play you want to see from these guys against the Patriots? A sack? A pick? Let me know in the comments, and let's get hyped for Saturday's matchup. Gill's Super Bowl moment deserves a spotlight. Back in 2021, he was part of Tampa Bay's championship run, facing off against Patrick Mahomes in Super Bowl 55. On just 3 defensive snaps, he recorded 2 tackles and split a sack. That's the kind of impact that turns heads, and it's why the Vikings are giving him a look. His Lisfranc injury in 2022 sidelined him for a full season, but Gill bounced back, playing 10 games for the Panthers in 2024. His 49.1 Pro Football Focus grade last year wasn't stellar, but his special teams prowess and occasional defensive flashes show he's got something to offer. Can he bring that Super Bowl energy to Minnesota? What do you think, Vikings fans? Is Gill's championship pedigree a game-changer, or does he need to prove himself all over again? Drop your takes in the comments, and let's keep the purple fire burning. Max Tooley's college career at BYU is worth a closer look. Over 6 seasons, he was a defensive standout, starting 31 games and racking up 311 tackles. His 7 interceptions, including 2 returned for touchdowns, show he's got a nose for the ball. At 6'2" with a 4.58 40-yard dash, he's got the size and speed to compete at the NFL level. His brief exit from Minnesota in July raised eyebrows, but his quick return suggests the Vikings see untapped potential. Tooley's never played in an NFL game, but his practice squad time last year gave him a taste of Brian Flores' system. Could this be his breakout moment? Vikings fans, is Tooley the sleeper pick we've been waiting for? Or is he just a camp body? Let me know what you think in the comments, and let's see if he can make some noise. With roster cuts looming on August 26th, the pressure's on for Gill and Tooley. The Vikings need to trim from 90 players to 53, and every rep counts. Gill's NFL experience gives him a leg up, but he's competing against young guns like Gabriel Murphy, who's been turning heads in camp. Tooley, meanwhile, is up against a deep inside linebacker group. These joint practices and the preseason game against the Patriots are their audition. A big hit, a key tackle, or a special teams play could lock in a practice squad spot, or even a roster spot. The Vikings' defense is a machine under Flores, and only the best will survive. SKOL Nation, who's got the better shot at sticking around, Gill or Tooley? Drop your predictions in the comments, and let's see who's ready to bleed purple. Let's talk Brian Flores' defense. Known for its aggression and versatility, it's a perfect fit for players like Gill and Tooley. Gill's edge-rushing skills could complement Flores' blitz-heavy scheme, while Tooley's instincts and speed fit the off-ball linebacker role. But with so much talent already, they've got to stand out. The Patriots' offense, led by Drake May and former Viking Stefon Diggs, will test their mettle. These joint practices are a chance for Gill to show he can pressure the QB and for Tooley to prove he can cover or stop the run. Will they rise to the challenge? Vikings fans, what's the one defensive play you want to see from these new guys? A blitz? A coverage stop? Hit the comments and let's get ready for some purple chaos. The Vikings' recent roster moves show they're not standing still. Waiving Brian Asamoah, placing Rondale Moore on IR, and cutting Zeke Correll open spots for Gill and Tooley. But these signings aren't just about filling holes, they're about competition. The Vikings want players who can push the starters and add depth for the long haul. Gill and Tooley are here to fight for their NFL dreams. With the preseason game against the Patriots on Saturday, they'll get a chance to show what they've got. Starters might sit, but that means more snaps for guys like these. Can they make a case before the roster deadline? SKOL Nation, are these signings a sign of bigger things to come, or just camp depth? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's keep the Vikings hype alive. Let's not forget the bigger picture. The Vikings are building for 2025. These signings come as the team prepares for a crucial season, with young QB J.J. McCarthy and a stacked defense leading the charge. Gill and Tooley might not be headliners, but they're part of the puzzle. Depth matters in the NFL, and these guys could be key in special teams or injury situations. The joint practices with the Patriots are a chance to test this revamped linebacker group against a tough opponent. With Kevin O'Connell and Brian Flores pulling the strings, every move is calculated. Are Gill and Tooley here for the long haul, or just a preseason cameo? What's your take, Vikings fans? Are these signings a small step or a big statement? Let me know in the comments, and let's get ready for some SKOL action. As we wrap up, let's look ahead. The Vikings face the Patriots in a preseason showdown this Saturday at noon, and all eyes will be on the new guys. Cam Gill and Max Tooley have a golden opportunity to make their mark, whether it's a bone-crushing tackle or a game-changing play on special teams. With roster cuts just 2 weeks away, the stakes couldn't be higher. This is what Vikings football is all about: grit, heart, and a relentless pursuit of greatness. Whether these guys make the 53-man roster or fight for a practice squad spot, they're part of the purple journey. SKOL Nation, are you ready to see them in action? That's it for today's Vikings news update. Smash that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more Purple Proud content. Share this with your fellow Vikings fans, and let's keep the SKOL chant going strong. Until next time, SKOL Vikings.